Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing another my first time video and we are trying Minky fabric. So come along and let's see how this goes. Because I got this material in advance, I completely forgot that I had bought more than I needed for this project. So this is 1.5 yards, so that's why there's so much fabric, but I guess it's like a little trial to if I could make bigger blankets than just baby blankets. Maybe like a wedding blanket. I don't know if that's a thing. You've probably been able to tell already that most of this video is going to be sped up. However, at this point, it was literally like at 4 times speed because I was trying to put all of my weight to get this hoop to close and it just kept popping out. Perhaps in the future I'll have to try the floating method. I cannot wait for the day that I am able to afford a larger embroidery machine and get the mighty hoop that just magnetizes together. This is probably my favorite part of working on an embroidery project is peeling off the water stabilizer. It's just so satisfying. I love it so much. Let me know down in the comments if you do embroidery, if you also feel this way, or if I'm just really weird. Here I am just cutting off the excess water stabilizer because I'll reuse it for another piece of this project, and I'm cutting away on the edge of the cutaway stabilizer, and the bigger pieces I'll reuse, the smaller pieces I will not. Every time I had to hoop a new section, I literally got so upset. I pinched my finger numerous times, my hands were bright red. I just wish that they would make a magnetized hoop for smaller machines. Like, I don't understand why we have to struggle. This fabric isn't even that thick. Like, I'm just mind blown. Originally, I was a bit hesitant on doing embroidery on Minky dot fabric. I know people have done it before, but for some reason, I just had this idea that eventually half a dimple would be smashed and the other half would be like sticking up like right next to the applique and it would look funny. But that didn't end up happening. It ended up looking really smooth and nice. Since I had already used a couple pieces of stabilizer and had some larger pieces left over, I wanted to use them up in this project rather than just have them laying around my craft room. So I took some basting adhesive, which is basically just a glue, and put it on piece by piece and then laid the fabric on top, cut off the excess, and then just hooped it. Easy as that. This basting spray is different than using a glue though because it won't gunk up your needle or make it nasty and sticky. I knew that the sewing process would be difficult, but I didn't intend on it being difficult just yet. I thought it would be more difficult once the fuzzy side was flipped towards the outside, but here's what happens. So you have this Minky fabric and it's stretchy somewhat, and then I had flannel, so one's moving faster than the other because it's being fed through differently. The top foot is sticking to the fabric, so it's not moving. The fabric's just stretching, if that makes sense. So I don't know, I had a lot of issues. I kept having to just pull it and just hope for the best. My approach was to do the opposite corner of the design and the design's quarter, and then hopefully if those line up I can get the top and the bottom to match up pretty easily. There was some trial and error, and yes, the seam ripper was very close by because I did have to rip it out a couple times just to match it up so it didn't look completely lopsided, but somehow I managed to push through it. Now the top stitch was a lot easier. It just entailed a lot of pulling on the back end to get it to feed through because this is a lot of fabric. You've got essentially 4 pieces of fabric and one that's fuzzy, so the foot didn't really like feeding through it. Otherwise, it was just literally doing the stitch in the same exact spot. It wasn't moving the fabric at all, but it was a lot easier than the first part of making the initial round of putting the blanket together. Overall, I would say that working with Minky is not my favorite in the slightest. Hooping it is a nightmare if you have a small machine. I guess if you had a mighty hoop, then it would be a breeze to do that, so it wouldn't be that much of a big deal. And once you get used to sewing this, it gets easier, I'd hope. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and liked it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know what you want to see in the future. Alright, bye!